It's episode 10 of Survivor China, and previously, two sides were officially established between snakes and phoenixes, with a few of the original tribe members on opposite sides, including Jeannie, Shelby, and Maria. Daniela became super upset with Maria, causing Maria to feel distant from the phoenixes in general. However, their trust wasn't the only one broken. On the other hand, Alec did not trust Jeannie after figuring out she flipped on him. So, after the immunity challenge played in pairs, Betty and Roland won immunity together, and the merged tribe went back into scramble mode. Three main names were mentioned, those being Alec, Adam, and then Jeannie. Though, Steph tried to stop Alec from taking out Jeannie. Despite her efforts, Alec kept the flip alive with Shelby, Garth, and Betty also on board. In the end, the vote tied in a three-way, and Daniela and Roland decided to flip on Jeannie in the revote to prevent a deadlock. With such a messy result, will the power structure now shift? We'll find out soon. It's night 21 in the game, and everyone returns from tribal council extremely confused. Julian sobs uncontrollably by the shelter, so some people head over to comfort him. In confessional, Alex says he's flabbergasted by how chaotic and messy this previous tribal council was, and it ended in him getting his way. This just proves how risky you need to play Survivor sometimes to get your way. You can't be an all-star if you don't play it safe. Of course, people are upset with him, but they'll get over it pretty soon. Betty and Alec then approach Julian, and Alec asks if he wants to chat, but Julian asks him to leave him alone. In fact, both him and Betty can leave him alone tonight. Betty asks what she did, and Steph tells Betty to just give him some space. In confessional, Shelby laughs and says this night couldn't have gone better. First of all, guess whose name never showed up at that tribal council? After receiving 5 votes, the first merge vote, she's now in the clear. In addition, Alec and Betty have blown up as such huge targets. They are such perfect shields, which of course means she needs to keep them around longer. They are her strongest allies after all, so why would she need to vote them out? Survivor is just so fun. Meanwhile, Daniela, Roland, Adam, and Hannah chat together, and Daniela admits she switched her vote to Jeannie in the revote to prevent rocks and to save Adam simultaneously. Roland raises his hand and says he did the same thing, so thankfully they had the same mindset. In confessional, Roland says that he really cares about Maria, but it's getting really difficult to surf around the tidal wave she's creating by consistently working with the other side. None of the phoenixes seem to trust her anymore, so he'll need to attempt some serious damage control to help maintain her safety. Adam then expresses how frustrated he is that Maria is always with the other group, and Roland says he tried to get her to vote Alec. Adam then says they might need to go as far as to voting her out if she wants to keep playing like this. Those snakes don't have her back like they did in the past. Daniela nods and says she's not afraid to express how mad she is at Maria as well. It doesn't matter that they are friends. She's messing with their games. In confessional, Daniela says she's just waiting to pull the trigger on Maria at this point. This is a girl who is playing to protect Shelby, and to protect Shelby tonight, she decided to keep Alec, one of Shelby's core alliance. If anything, Maria should be with the phoenixes. Instead, she's now officially a snake and chooses to play like one as well. Alec then approaches Julian as he's alone in the shelter, but Julian tells him to leave him alone. Alec tells him that he thinks a chat would be helpful, but Julian insists he's good. Betty then also comes into the shelter, and Julian asks the two if they know what the word no means. Betty says she does, but Julian recommends they check the dictionary because they aren't leaving him alone. Alec tells Julian he needs to get his head back in the game and stop being emotional, but Julian then gets up and says he'll just go camp out somewhere far from here at this point. In confessional, Julian says he's done playing nice. He's been riding it out with the snakes since day one, but his relationship with Alec and Betty is done. He's now playing to win for not only himself, but for Jeannie. It's day 22, and Roland tends the fire at camp. He then starts to get emotional, and Steph joins in and notices. She asks him what's wrong, and Roland says he just feels weak and tired out here. Steph nods and says they all feel exhausted. Especially now that there's so many of them on one tribe, so food is becoming scarce. In confessional, Roland says he didn't cry because of the elements and exhaustion, but instead because he feels very torn as to what he should do moving forward. Last night was tough because Adam and Daniela feel strongly about flipping on Maria, but he himself would love to reach the end with Maria. But, if Maria is tanking her own game by flipping, he can't save her and possibly put his own game at risk. He needs that winning prize more than ever in his life. Perhaps, more than winning love, which sounds extremely savage, but it's true. That's what has him torn. Steph later finds Julian alone, so she joins him and asks how he's doing this morning. Julian tells her he's feeling rather alright. He has gotten over Jeannie's elimination now, but he obviously won't forget about it game-wise. In confessional, Julian says that last night proved he cannot work with the snakes anymore, so he needs to pivot. Not all snakes are on his radar, but he specifically wants Alec and Betty to pay the price for what they did to Jeannie. Steph then tells Julian that she hopes one of the phoenixes finally go at this next tribal. They've gotten through both of the merge votes so far. Julian tells Steph he's not really interested in working with the snake side anymore. The flip last night made him look dumb, so he doesn't want that to happen again. Steph tells him that it's better to split up those phoenixes because they are stronger as long as the snakes are divided. In confessional, Steph says she doesn't want Julian to flip on the snakes just yet. She's basically the snake keeper. She's making sure these snakes don't go out of control. It's difficult when half the alliance switched their votes last night, but she'll make sure it sticks. Later on, Alec and Garth chat alone, and Garth says it's probably wise to apologize to Julian after last night. In confessional, Garth says that Julian and Alec are not on good terms after last night. Alec spun the votes on Jeannie, so it's no surprise Julian would want some sort of revenge in return. But that's not good for the snakes, of course. Alec then tells Garth he doesn't see much of a reason to work with Julian anymore. He's just as useless as Jeannie. Even without him, they still have Steph, Betty, Shelby, Maria, and Roland on their side, so 7 total numbers against the other 4. In confessional, Alec says he understands why it would be smart to get on Julian's good side again, but that's near impossible now. Julian is a threat to the alliance, just as much as Daniela, Hannah, and Adam. Garth then asks Alec who they should go after next in that case, and Alec says Daniela would be a good option since she hasn't used her idol yet. She might not even be aware that the snakes all know about it through Jeannie. Alec later decides to apologize to Julian and Steph about last night's flip, claiming he thought it was the right move for the alliance. Julian tells Alec he's finding it very difficult to believe the apology because half the alliance dumped him. They didn't believe in his capability to keep Jeannie on their side. Yet, Jeannie did in fact stick her vote on Adam. Alec says he knows and deeply regrets it. It was hard for him to know for sure since she voted for Shelby 2 rounds ago. In confessional, Julian says he doesn't believe shit from Alec's toilet bowl of a mouth. He made his bed, so now he's going to lay in it. Sure, he'll try to come off forgiving, but little does Alec know, he might just be the next one out. Alec tells Julian that whether he wants to stick with the snakes or not, he doesn't want to leave him out of the next vote. It's clear most of the alliance wants to take out Daniela because she constantly refuses to use her idol. If they vote her out with the idol in her pocket, the snakes have an opportunity to find the re-hidden merge idol. Julian tells Alec he won't guarantee anything, but he's thankful for the information. Julian later finds Daniela with Roland by the water, and then Daniela begins walking away. Julian then catches up to her and says he wants to quickly chat. Daniela tells him to go ahead, so Julian warns her that Alec wants to vote her out. He's telling her this because Alec has screwed him over, so he's flipping sides. He's willing to work with the phoenixes now. Daniela thanks Julian for warning her, and in confessional, Daniela says she's more than happy to have Julian replace Jeannie in her alliance. The only thing that worries her is the lack of numbers. Maria and Roland are very difficult to work with, and they have shown time and time again that they are going to do whatever rows their little love boat. Daniela then asks Julian if there's a name he has in mind for the next vote, and Julian says Alec. It's time to finally chop the head of the snake. Daniela smiles and says she had the same name in her mind, so she's glad they finally see eye to eye. In confessional, Julian says he never worked with Daniela, so it's quite cute that they can finally link up and take down a common enemy in Alec. Hopefully it works out because the last thing he needs is for Alec to continue running this merge. Daniela goes to camp and finds Hannah, Adam, and Maria with some other people, so she signals to Adam and Maria to come with her, and then Adam also lets Hannah know to follow along. The four then walk out of camp and stand on the path. Daniela lets them know that Julian has just informed her that Alec said her name. Whether it's true or not, they need to at least trust that Julian is in with the Phoenixes. He's currently looking for revenge. Adam says it sounds great, and Maria says there shouldn't be any problems with that. In confessional, Hannah says that the alliance she is currently in hasn't excelled at all in this merge. They went to 2 tribal councils so far and lost in both votes. Not to mention, of all people Daniela and Adam want to trust, they trust that Maria will stick with the alliance. The girl has flipped twice now, so there's nothing stopping her from doing it a third time. She's basically Alec's double agent. Once the group disbands, Hannah tells Adam they should go walk to the well together, so they begin walking. Hannah then whispers to Adam that she's pretty sure Daniela is convinced Maria is still with them. In actuality, it's clear Maria is just a double agent. Adam agrees and says he thinks this Phoenix alliance is crumbling more and more. Maybe they need to keep Daniela distant from the 2 of them and just keep Roland as their closer ally. Hannah says she just doesn't feel good about Roland either, considering he's in a showmance with Maria. In confessional, Adam says he fully understands Hannah's concerns right now with the alliance, and he sees what she's seeing. This alliance is dysfunctional because they keep trusting the same people that also end up flipping. Maria is a professional swing vote at this point, and Daniela seems to keep herself attached to her. Maybe now is the time for himself, Hannah, and Roland to look elsewhere. Adam then tells Hannah that for now, they should just keep their conversations going with Roland because he genuinely seems loyal to them. They have been together since day 1. Hannah then says that he's only loyal to him, but she could totally see Roland flipping on her. They aren't as close as their bros show. Adam tells Hannah they can't just drop everyone from the alliance, and Hannah says she agrees and isn't opposed to continue working with Roland. She just thinks they don't need to share every piece of information with Roland, considering he can then spill it to Maria. It's now day 23 in the game, and everyone arrives to the challenge mat for their next immunity challenge. Justin says good morning to them and asks for Betty and Roland to return their necklaces. They comply, and Justin says that they are going back to just 1 immunity necklace. For today's challenge, everyone will need to stand on 2 poles above water with their bare feet. If they fall into the water below, they are out. The last player standing will win immunity, safe from tonight's vote where someone will be the 12th person eliminated from Survivor China. With that, everyone is eventually on their poles, and Justin claims the challenge is now on. He also warns them that rain will likely pour down pretty soon, so it'll be an added level of difficulty for them. Alec immediately says he's not going to last with his big feet, and Betty yells out to him to at least try. Alec then falls into the water, eliminating himself from the challenge. Everyone else remains on their poles, and Julian says it's definitely not easy. Rain then starts dripping from the sky, and Justin claims that this challenge is starting to crank up, and it won't take long for people to start dropping like flies. As he says that, Maria unexpectedly drops second from the challenge, and then Hannah drops third. Only 8 remain, and the rain continues to pour from above. Everyone starts to shiver from the cold rain, and Garth leaps off as he has had enough. Adam also jumps off, and Roland follows right behind. Only 5 people remain, that being Steph, Julian, Betty, Shelby, and Daniela. Shelby takes continuous deep breaths to calm herself down, while Julian tries to readjust his feet. He then slips down into the water, eliminated from the challenge. Steph then tells the rest good luck as she then jumps into the water next. Only Betty, Shelby, and Daniela remain in the challenge, all 3 shivering from the cold rain. Daniela readjusts her feet, constantly groaning from the pain. Betty keeps telling herself not to fall, but she continues to shiver from the cold. Shelby then all of a sudden drops, meaning only Betty and Daniela remain in the challenge. Both ladies continue to shiver, and Betty keeps telling herself she has this in the bag. Daniela readjusts her feet again, but then, Betty drops, meaning Daniela has won immunity. Everyone claps for her from the sidelines, though extremely cold from the rain. Back on the mat, Justin congratulates Daniela on her victory, and she heads up to claim her necklace. Justin then claims he won't be snuffing her torch tonight. As for everyone else, someone will be the 12th player eliminated and will become the 3rd juror of the season. Everyone then makes their way back to camp, and in confessional, Daniela says she is thriving right now after losing for 2 votes in a row. Not only is she immune tonight, but she has her hidden immunity idol. She could play it selfishly and keep it for herself, or she could use it tonight if she figures out who the vote is from her side. There are more people she distrusts than she can count with her fingers, so she might end up on the bottom of the next vote anyway. She needs to keep her allies alive. Back at the Ravagers' camp, the tribe immediately splits up, and away from camp, Alec, Steph, Betty, Garth, and Shelby are together for a meeting. In confessional, Alec says that the plan to vote out Daniela is officially chopped from their options. That likely guarantees her merge idol at Final 10, which is pretty concerning. So now, the Alliance is going to need a new plan that works for everyone. Shelby then tells everyone that they need a new plan, and she's thinking Adam. He's the strongest player socially and strategically from the opposing side, so it's best to nip that in the bud. Betty agrees and says he's a really good liar, so that's another reason to add to the list. Everyone else then agrees to vote Adam, and in confessional, Betty says she cannot wait to take out one of the people she has a rocky relationship with, that being Adam. Her, Adam, and Hannah haven't gelled at all lately, so if Adam goes to jury, that'll hopefully free herself up from any more drama moving forward. At camp, Julian is with Daniela in the shelter, and Daniela lets Julian know that Alec is still the vote tonight. Julian nods, and in confessional, Julian says he's probably going to be a key swing vote tonight for both sides, but he doesn't see why he should side with Alec. Alec is running this game right now, and not a lot of people want to take that shot against him yet. He's like the perfect shield for everyone that will stay until halfway into the merge. Though, with that being the case, maybe he shouldn't try voting Alec if he's not going home anyway. Maybe it's best to just show him that there's no bad blood between the two of them. Later on, Shelby talks with Maria alone, letting her know that she heard Adam's name for tonight's vote. Maria then says okay and looks down at the ground. Shelby then asks her if she's sure she's fine with that plan, and Maria says he wouldn't have been in the game right now if people actually followed through with it last time. In confessional, Shelby says had a feeling Maria would be bitter at her over the previous vote since Adam didn't end up going home. What Maria doesn't know is that herself and Alec are the power duo running this merge, and their next target needed to be Jeannie. Who even was Jeannie anyway? But of course for Maria's game, it made sense to take out Adam as someone she never fully connected with since day one. Shelby then tells Maria that Adam is seriously going home tonight, and there's no dupe with this one. Maria tells Shelby she never even got approached by the Alliance last night over the flip. It's like they flipped and left her in dirt. Shelby tells her that's not the case, but Maria interrupts and says it doesn't feel good to be on the outs of a vote while also being in the majority alliance. In confessional, Maria says she's not even sure if she wants to work with the Snakes anymore. She thought they would be her die-hard alliance, but maybe she needs to knock them down a few pegs. maybe starting tonight. Shelby then tells Maria that there's no shady business. They really need to lock in tonight and take out Adam as planned. Maria says okay once again and says she'll just head off now. Meanwhile, Roland and Adam talk about the vote, and Adam says it's still going to be Alec from what he heard. Hopefully Julian is on board after seeing signs of him dying to flip on Alec. In confessional, Roland says he prefers to stay Phoenix strong tonight, but it's difficult to balance his relationship with the Phoenixes and with Maria as a separate relationship. Maria is somewhat all over the place. She's with the Phoenixes one moment, but then with Shelby and Alec the next. Roland then tells Adam they are good to go, and hopefully they have the numbers this time around. Last vote was an absolute disaster. Adam says he honestly doesn't know how to feel about Maria anymore, but if she can rock with them tonight, that's enough to take out Alec. Roland soon goes to Maria, asking her where her vote will go tonight. Maria then tells him that she's a bit torn right now because on one hand, Adam got her vote last time. On the other, Alec lied to her about the previous vote. In confessional, Maria says that both Alec and Adam are strong guys in this game, and with one of them going home, she benefits from it no matter what. It's just a question of who should go first as the bigger threat of the two. Which of the two should go to open up more avenues for her game? Roland then tells Maria that while he himself trusts Adam a lot, he will always protect her over anyone else out here. Maria then asks him if he thinks she should trust Adam and Hannah, and Roland says he'll be very honest with her. He feels like they will try to flip on her soon. Like, very soon. Maria sighs and says she can't work with the Phoenixes tonight in that case. If Adam stays, she's screwed. In confessional, Roland says he wanted to be upfront with Maria because he's basically tied with her right now. He can't betray her or else he's not protected as much anymore. She's the anchor for his game right now to prevent it from floating away into nothingness. Meanwhile, Daniela meets up with Hannah and Adam, and Hannah tells Daniela she should probably use her idol tonight because she just saw Roland and Maria talking alone, and both seem very stressed. She's assuming Maria isn't on board with the Alec vote. Daniela then says that they should just keep their votes on Alec, and hopefully her idol can save the correct person tonight. In confessional, Daniela says she wants to believe Maria and Roland are on the fence with the vote. There are only really 4 votes locked in for Alec tonight. They just need 2 more, and maybe those 2 should be Roland and Maria. Or maybe swap out Maria, the queen of flipping, and replace her with Steph. Steph is close with Julian, so why not use that relationship and bring Steph in with this alliance? Daniela later goes up to Julian and Steph, letting them know that this is a great opportunity to talk about the vote. Steph then asks Daniela for her opinion on this vote, since last tribal council really shook things up for the entire tribe. Daniela then says it has to be Alec. He's running most of the snakes, and it needs to change. It's mind-boggling how he managed to get Shelby and Maria on his side, 2 people who were staying strong with the Phoenixes not too long ago. Steph says it truly is remarkable how much power Alec has in this game. In confessional, Steph says she's aware of how dangerous Alec is, and she doesn't actually want to move forward with him if he's going to prioritize other people like Garth, Shelby, and Maria. She feels much more comfortable working with Julian, and he currently doesn't want to align himself with Alec anymore. Tonight could be the night a move is made to start a new kingdom. Julian then says that he cannot wait to see Alec's face tonight, and Daniela says they just need to hope they have 6 votes. Who knows anymore? Both of their merge votes so far have been unpredictable. It's night 23, and the Ravagers arrive to Tribal Council. Justin welcomes them back, and he introduces Jeannie as the first juror of the season. Julian then gestures to Jeannie and she nods in response. Justin then says that he never really knows what to expect from this tribe because things seem to be tossed around like a salad at this rate. He then asks Hannah if she has any clue what kind of dynamics have been built on this tribe, and Hannah says it's weirdly still a similar battle from the first merged tribal, just a few shifts perhaps. Justin then asks Garth if he's aware of what shifts Hannah is referring to, and Garth says there is probably a boat in the middle right now that doesn't know where to go. Alec then adds that in his eyes, there's one dominant alliance that is unbreakable and should remain that way, and that's the quote-unquote snake side. Shelby smiles and tells Justin that there are some phoenixes that feel like they can't stay on the sinking ship that is the original Phoenix tribe. Justin then turns to Daniela, asking her if the original phoenixes are soggy tissues at this point, and Daniela says that's definitely one way to put it. At the end of the day, people can vote however they want. They can strategize with whoever they want. However, this game forces people to feel restricted with what they can do. While one may want to stick with the easy numbers, it's not necessarily going to win them the game. Adam then agrees with Daniela, stating that there are some people that need to reevaluate who they want to move forward with. If a majority alliance is dominating so well so far, it's only going to be worse for the low-hanging fruit. Justin then asks Hannah if the low-hanging fruit is very obvious to everyone here, but Hannah says it's definitely up to interpretation. Her side currently believes there are a few people in the power position, and they will always stick together until the very end. That leaves a few stragglers who are just there to get 6th and 7th place. Justin then turns to Maria, asking her if she believes this argument coming from Hannah, Adam, and Daniela, and Maria says she does. They are her Phoenix pals anyway. She'll always believe them. Justin then asks Hannah why she smirked at that, and Hannah says she didn't think he'd point out her reaction like that. But anyway, she only smirked because Maria is on the fence tonight, and she knows that they all know. Justin asks Maria if that's true, and Maria says it's pretty clear that things did not go the way she wanted it to go last time, so yes, it's obvious to everyone she's a swing vote right now. Justin then asks Alec if there's possibly multiple swing votes or if it's just Maria, and Alec says that anyone can be a swing vote. Anyone can swing to a new side and leave their existing one if they feel it's necessary. Justin then asks Maria if she knows what the right move is tonight, and Maria says she thinks she does. Hopefully things work out and she doesn't get screwed over next time. Justin then says that it's probably a good time to get to the vote, so everyone gets ready for it.
I'll tally the votes. If anyone has a hidden immunity idol and they want to play it, now would be the time to do so. Daniela is deciding to use her hidden immunity tonight. She is choosing to play her idol on Hannah. Any votes for Hannah tonight will not count. I'll read the votes. First vote, Adam. Adam. That's 2 votes Adam. Alec. 2 votes Adam, 1 vote Alec. Adam. Adam. 4 votes Adam, 1 vote Alec. 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 We're tied. 4 votes Adam, 4 votes Alec. Adam. That's 5 votes Adam, 4 votes Alec. Twelfth person voted out of Survivor China and the second member of the jury, Adam.
Adam nods and gets up out of his seat, and Daniela gets up and apologizes for using the idol wrong. He tells her it's all good, and Hannah meanwhile tells Maria she's messy. Adam then puts his torch down next to Justin, and his torch gets snuffed. He then wishes everyone luck, and they all say goodbye to him. Adam then walks out, and Hannah tells Daniela she appreciates her idol. Justin then tells everyone to head back to camp, so they all start walking back. Next time on Survivor China. With the continued run of power, Alec keeps his alliance close and further distances himself from the 3 people on the bottom, those being Daniela, Hannah, and Julian. With Daniela wasting her idol on Hannah, will her side find the re-hidden merge idol? Or can they find new avenues to explore? Plus, with a boba reward on the line, will new bonds be made to shift the current dynamics of the Ravagers tribe? Find all of this out on the next episode. Adam's final thoughts. Adam thinks his journey is complete enough to be a satisfying one. He doesn't know what else he could have done to save himself. Alec's side was just way too strong, and they hid the vote pretty well, at least from Daniela. He knew deep down that Alec wanted him gone because he really is one of the last people who is competition for him. At the moment, Alec truly is set up to win this game, and if the people around him don't realize that, they will suffer consequences as a result.